Hello, assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Danya Bushwereb. I'm a GP, consultant family medicine doctor from UK. And today I decided to present the best way to lose weight and stay healthy and strong in 2024. If you didn't come across my channel before, the reason behind it was to explain about the common conditions a family doctor or a GP will see on a daily basis, just to increase awareness. And to strengthen you with the knowledge. So, what is the best way of eating, or what's the healthiest way of eating? Well, actually, studies shown that it is Mediterranean diet, and it's not only studies, even cardiologists. Because apart from my work as a GP, I receive many letters from different specialties, different doctors. All letters in the hospital, they go to the GP. So the cardiology department or cardiologists, they always advise for following Mediterranean diet. I know, like other diets, like keto diet and other like trends and diets, you will find it on social media and all of these quick fix and crush diets. You'll find like a lot of promotions on social media. But the problem with these diets, there isn't enough scientific evidence behind it. But Mediterranean diet, the really good thing about it, that research has been done over many years. And when I say many years, I'm speaking about even up to like 1950. If you go and if you search like for studies and research, you will find the best diets or the best lifestyle, which many researchers which has been done about it. It was the Mediterranean diet. And that was actually my master. And my master, which I did in 2013, the project was about how to eat healthy following Mediterranean diet. So every day I used to study maybe 20 or 30 papers. And it was very interesting, and I was fascinated about how many effort and studies was done about it. So I'm going to explain to it about it in detail, so stay tuned with me. So what is the Mediterranean diet? First of all, I don't like the word diet, because the word diet, it means restriction. And actually, it is not a restriction, it is a lifestyle. And a lot of people, when they hear Mediterranean, they'll say, actually, speaking about Italian food, you're speaking about French food, about Greek. No, that's not necessary. You can have any cuisine. For example, if you're Libyan, if you're Egyptian, you're hearing me at the moment, or if you're Pakistani or anything, you can eat anything, but just follow Mediterranean style. Just cook it in a Mediterranean style. That's the only thing. So Mediterranean style of eating, apart from it's known to be healthy and nutritious, proven by researchers, but also all of these researchers which I studied, and it's known that Mediterranean diet is known for it. People who live in the countries who followed the Mediterranean diet, they live longer. So these countries, they have the highest level of life expectancies in the world, and they have the lowest rate of many life-threatening diseases, or what we call chronic diseases, such as heart problems or cancers or Parkinsonism, Alzheimer, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. All of these problems are less. So what is Mediterranean area? So Mediterranean area, of course, it's Italy, Greece, France, Spain, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, and Turkey. But to be honest, the studies, when we speak about Mediterranean diet, the studies were done more about Italy, France, and Spain. There isn't. I wish they did studies on Libya and Egypt. I'm originally from Libya. My grandmother is from this area in Italy. So I am Mediterranean. Maybe that's why even I chose this subject during my master about how to eat healthy in Mediterranean diet. But I'm not promoting the Mediterranean diet just because I'm from the Mediterranean area. I'm not biased because of that. I really believe in it. I believe it's the best way it's the best lifestyle or best way of eating. So the studies were done on these European countries. But I mean, if you come from Egypt or Libya or Algeria, you're hearing, so why not maybe you can do a study on the area, or maybe even try to. That's a good idea. Maybe try to change your cuisine, like your Egyptian cuisine, and try to adopt a Mediterranean style, make it more healthier. So, what is the best thing about Mediterranean areas? They're known to have a good weather. So the weather there, it's moderate comparing with countries, for example, like Scandinavia or UK or north of Europe, where it's very cold and people like the comfort food. They like to eat like butter and potato and all of that stuff. Mediterranean area, it's known to have like very good moderate weather. And actually, when you have a moderate weather, it encourages you to go outside, to walk. So I don't know if you have an Italian friend, or if you ever visited Italy or France. Or, for example, in Italy, they have something very famous as part of the culture. They have something called passeggiata. So what is passeggiata? It means that they like to have the walk. So at night, before they sleep, at 8 o'clock, after they have the dinner, they always like to have like a nice walk in the town. And that's quite good, because they can involve also like having exercise every day. Another thing also, like in Mediterranean countries, usually they don't work until 5 o'clock like in the UK. They work until 1 o'clock and then they go back home, they have their lunch with the family, and then they go back to work, and then they have their dinner. So the same thing also like in Arab countries, the same thing, they have to have their lunch at home. Whereas like in the UK, the problem that they work until 5 o'clock and then they go back home and then they eat their dinner. So the lunch is usually, they don't have time to cook like a proper lunch. And that's another thing. I mean, if you're in the UK, you can always overcome that problem, and I will explain in a moment how to do that. Because I struggle myself, of course, as you know, like as a GP, you have to finish sometimes at 6 o'clock, sometimes at 7 o'clock, and how can you do that if you end up like buying something? So yeah, that's one of the things about Mediterranean diet, is that they have a good weather, they have a better social life. But to be honest, like even Mediterranean people at the moment, unfortunately, their diet is not that good as before. All of the research has shown that Mediterranean diet before, like many years ago, actually it was quite good in Mediterranean countries, but now, because they've been influenced by all of the American like junk food and fast food, McDonald's, and all of the chocolates and all of the bad stuff from America and from like UK, so even their diet is not that good as before. But we're speaking about older generations, their diet is the best diet. And they used to live longer. They used to live until 80, 70, 90, sorry, without any really medical problems. So that was my poster in my master, which I did it like 10 years ago. I'm not going to go in details, but as you can see, I had like loads of study. I had loads of things like quantitative, qualitative study, and all of that. So all of the researches which I read, it all shows that there's loads of benefits behind Mediterranean diet. So what are the benefits? As I explained, if you follow Mediterranean diet, you will have you'll reduce your risk of having high blood pressure, high cholesterol, developing type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease. What are the cardiovascular diseases? Such as like having strokes, heart attacks, angina, all of that stuff. Also, it will decrease the risk of having cancer, because cancerous cells, they love sugar, they love fat. So when you decrease that, when you follow a good lifestyle, you will decrease the risk. If you have it in the family, if you have the gene, you already inherited the gene, so how can you decrease the risk? By having a better lifestyle. And also, all of the studies of Mediterranean diet, it shows that even you will decrease the risk of having Alzheimer, Parkinsonism disease, obesity. Although Mediterranean diet, it's not a crash diet. You're not going to lose weight straight away, but on the long term, because you have like a better choices of eating better food, your quality of food is better, your quality of life is better. So when you do this, you're not gonna you will, and on the long term, you will lose weight. You will not suffer from obesity if you follow it. But of course, if somebody needs to lose weight, they always have to go into a bit of calorie deficit, which I'm gonna explain about it in the next slides. The additional benefits of following Mediterranean diet: improve your mood, because when you eat better food, you don't feel bloatiness. You feel better in yourself. Your quality of life is better. Okay, so that's the most important slide. If you write in Google Mediterranean diet, you will always see this pyramid. This pyramid is the famous pyramid of Mediterranean diet. So I will explain about it in details. So the first thing, you have physical activity. So whether it was Mediterranean diet or even WHO, they always advise that minimum you have to do exercise 30 minutes per day for minimum 5 days a week. That's the minimum thing. And 30 minutes per day, whether you do cardio, that means like you run, you walk, or even like simple like things, even like, for example, cleaning your home or going up the stairs and down the stairs or walking your dog. But of course, it will be better if you have some cardio, like if you have a bicycle, you like to run on your bicycle, you like to go a bit walking with your friend. And even better if you put a bit of cardio with a bit of like body lifting, strengthening, and Pilates. That's the best thing. But if you cannot do that because like your work or anything or responsibilities, parental responsibilities, at least even doing like 30 minutes of walking, or maybe if you're a woman, you're listening, maybe a bit of exercise, maybe Zumba at home, or even like cleaning your home, all of that, it's included in the 30 minutes per day. So if you do that, that's quite good. Of course, as you can see, socializing and cooking. Cooking and preparing your meals is important. And I think that's a challenge if you're in the UK and you work many hours. That's a bit of a challenge. And then drinking loads of water. 5, you need to have, let's come here. So as you can see here in the pyramid, you have every main meal, then every day, and then weekly. So every main meal, that means each meal you have to have like fruits 1 to 2, vegetables more than 2. Minimum, you have to have 5. Okay, 5 of what? 5 of fruit and vegetables. So it's not, that doesn't mean like you have to have minimum 5 fruit and 5 vegetables. That means 5 things, whether it was fruit or vegetables. So for example, you can have 2 fruits, like you can have, let's say, an orange and apple, and then you can have 3 vegetables a day. That's enough. That means like, I mean, if it's more, that's better. But even if you have just 5, if you have an orange and an apple and you have like 3 vegetables, let's say a tomato, something else, carrot or something else, you have it. So that means you follow the Mediterranean diet. So that's really good. And then olive oil. You have to change the butter. You cannot have butter. Butter is really bad. But butter has the bad fat. It has saturated fat. Butter and any oil, any other oil, like frying oil, all of that, it's not good. You have to change it to unsaturated fat, which is the olive oil. So all of the studies about Mediterranean diet, it shows that when you consume unsaturated fat, that will decrease your risk of having cardiovascular disease. I know a lot of people will say, well, actually, but extra virgin olive oil is quite expensive. It can cost £8. Well, there is an alternative for olive oil. Sorry, it can be canola oil, because there was one of the studies which has been done in Latin America, and it shows that actually people they live longer, they have decreased like in cardiovascular problem like heart attacks and cancer, all of that. But they don't have olive oil. What do they have? They have canola oil, because that's part of the culture in Latin America. They like to cook everything with canola oil. So if you're thinking about money, if you're thinking, well, you know, I don't want to buy olive oil every time because it can cost money. You can have 1 bottle of olive oil, but also you can maybe buy another bottle of canola oil and use canola oil, because canola oil is quite cheap. So that's an alternative. Both of them have the good fat, which is the unsaturated fat, and that's what you want. You don't want the saturated one. Saturated one, it's bad. It will clog your arteries. It will cause heart attacks and strokes and all of that stuff. Okay, and then pasta. So that's quite surprising, right? Because Mediterranean diet, actually, you can have pasta. You can have, as you know, Italians, they like to have like lasagna. They like to have their pizza and their macaroni. So just eat it in moderation. So you can have that. Brown bread, it's better to switch it from white to brown. Sorry, the bread it's better to switch it from white to brown. So that's the good thing. And then you have you can use herbs. You can use onions, olives, as you like. And then also you can have nuts and seeds. You can use them as a snack. You can have them, as you can see here, every day. And then you have dairy. A dairy which can be like cheese, milk. You can have it not more than 2 portions a day. Can you see here? 2S, that means 2 portions. And it's preferred, of course, to be low fat. And then you have the white meats. White meats, which can be like chicken. So you can have them twice a week. So that's weekly. And then fish and seafood here, minimum 2. So a Mediterranean diet, actually, it encourages you to eat more fish. A lot of people will say, well, actually, no, the salmon is quite expensive when you compare it with other meats. It is expensive, but you can have the frozen one, or you can have a canned tuna. Some people maybe will think, will say, well, actually, no, I don't want to just buy like frozen fish just so I can follow Mediterranean diet. Well, I mean, I know that if you're used to have like fresh food, fresh meat, of course, you know, having frozen is it's not really good. It doesn't taste that much good. But I'm speaking about the nutrition. From the nutritionist value, doesn't matter if it's frozen or if it's fresh. Even, by the way, even vegetables, even fruit. If you want to make a smoothie out of frozen berries, it will give you. It's nutritious, and it will give you like the value in it. It's equal, and it's the same like having a fresh one. The fresh one, of course, I know fresh one, it tastes better. But if somebody is thinking, well, economically it might cost, because a lot of people think that, well, if eating healthy, that means it costs a lot of money. It doesn't really cost a lot of money, because Mediterranean countries, it's like many years ago when all of these studies were done, Mediterranean people, like Italians, they were not that rich at that time, and a Mediterranean diet, it used to be like a diet of poor people. It's not a diet of rich people. So yeah, so put it in mind. So that's quite important. Another thing, apart from eating, it encourages you to eat like a lot of fish and having 2 meals of white meat. The most important thing is the red meat. You're not allowed to have, as you can see here, red meat less than 2. So that means 1. You're not allowed to have more than 1 portion of red meat a week. So if you always cook every day, you have to cook lamb, or you have to cook something like or beef or any red meat, that's not good. You're increasing your risk of having heart attacks, heart problems, Alzheimer, cancer, all of that. And then processed meat is here. Can you see it's equal or less than 1. So it's better not to have processed meat at all, like sausages, salami. You need to, that's not part of the Mediterranean diet, but you can have it. As I said, Mediterranean diet is not a restriction. You can have it, but it's better not to have it. Maximum once a week. You can have maybe a sandwich of salami, not more than that. And then eggs, again, maximum you can have 4 eggs. Why? We all know that eggs, the egg yolk itself, it has like a lot of cholesterol in it. So you really cannot have that much of it. And then legumes, 2 or more legumes, which is peas and beans. Again, you can have them, and it encourages you to have them. So if you understand this, that's it. You can just like follow it. It's easy. Just make a few changes. Don't get stressed that, oh, like this is a diet, and no, step by step. Like for example, this week you can start switching the white bread to brown bread, and then you can stop buying like the bad butter or the bad oils, and start buying unsaturated oils like olive oil or canola oil. Maybe add a bit of exercise. Maybe add more fish. Buy tuna. Maybe you can buy more white meats. Like just a few changes you can do. Increase the fruit. Try to find like a nice fruit which you like, which you really enjoy and satisfies you. So that's it's a picture about meals in Mediterranean. As you can see, there's nice minestrone, which is not like the soup of which it's a very good soup, because it has like lentils, it has loads of vegetables in it, and then you have lasagna. Lasagna still you can eat it, but just like you can eat it once a week because it has red meat. That's the only thing. And salami still you can have it like once a week, and then all of the resting like ravioli and the other things you can have. But as I said, that's not necessarily that you need to eat Italian food. You can, even if you're listening from Libya, you can have couscous or couscousi. You can have other things, or if you're British or you're from Canada or any other, or from Egypt, you can eat the same cuisine, but just cook it in a Mediterranean diet. So for example, if you're from Libya and you want to have couscous, you're allowed to have couscous here. You can have couscous, and you can have red meat. You can cook it once a week, or you can have like fish with couscous. You can eat it every day. That's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. So these are like a few simple ideas about breakfast. What you can have. You can have yogurt with fruit. You can have baked beans with brown breads. It's better. I mean, you can have any slice of bread, but it's better to have like a brown one. And then you can have brown bread with tuna here, or you can have a smoothie. Again, if you don't have diabetes, in case if somebody has diabetes, then you can follow the Mediterranean diet. You're going to benefit from it, so it will decrease your risk of having a high blood pressure, high cholesterol, cardiovascular problems, cancer, Alzheimer's, all of that. You're going to still decrease the risk, but you need to make a few changes about sugary things. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to, researchers show that Mediterranean diet decreases the risk of having diabetes, so that's why I need to have it. If you have diabetes, you can't really have sugary things. But as I said, you can still follow the Mediterranean diet, but just stop them. Just change, like make a few changes about the sugary stuff, like the smoothies and then that's another idea about breakfast. You can have like eggs. it has like loads of protein, especially if you want to follow Mediterranean diet, but also you want to build muscles. If you want to do exercise and you're doing body lifting, if you're a man and you want to build muscles, you can have like eggs in the morning. But again, you cannot have more than 4 eggs. So that means, let's say that 2 days you have 2 eggs, and then another day you have oats with protein powder with some maybe peanut butter, a bit of peanut butter. That all of this it's Mediterranean diet with fruit in it. Can use even a bit of dark chocolate. That's really nice. So you can build your muscles, and also you're eating healthy following Mediterranean style. So that's another idea. Lunch. This is a picture of Moroccan tagine. Again, if you don't use like butter, or you don't use the bad oil, you just use olive oil. You can use olives. You can use loads of herbs and chicken. This is a Mediterranean dish. That's a Libyan couscous, the famous Libyan couscous. It's done here with the red meat. Again, it's following Mediterranean diet with like really nice Libyan, traditional Libyan salad, and couscous and onions, all of that. You're not breaking the rules. And this is Indian curry, or Pakistani, Punjabi curry also. If the problems I think with Indians, sometimes they can use a bit of butter and lard. So if you're Indian and or if you're not Indian and you just like curry, just use the olive oil, the canola oil, instead of like any other thing. Dinner, you can have a jacket potato with a bit of tuna. You can have a salad with some chicken. Snacks, fruit, vegetables, yogurt. Find the low fat. Olives, nuts. Drinks, again, you can have fruit juice. If you don't have diabetes, you can have smoothies. You can have any coffee. It's not you need to have like loads of water, whether it's with still water or sparkling, not a problem. Okay, so as I said, I've already explained about the oil. This is bad. This is good. Olive oil or canola oil. The rest, stop it. So are we surprised? I know like a lot of people will say, well, actually, I expected that you're going to give me a diet, a crash diet or something, so I can lose weight, because my goal is to lose weight, 5 or 6 kilos in 2024. And you're telling me just to eat your normal food and just make a few changes. Well, actually, I know a lot of people are surprised, and that's when I did my master. When I used to present like about promoting or discussing about Mediterranean diet, people always get surprised. They said like, we were expecting that you're going to give us a specific diet. No, you don't actually. You don't need to do any diet. If you don't want to lose weight, just follow it. That's really good, because that's the only diet which has, as I said, which is proven that it has like loads of studies and researchers which says that it's a good diet. And if you want to lose weight, you can follow it and just do a bit of calorie deficit. And don't restrict yourself, because if you restrict yourself, you will end up eating more. You will end up you will crush really. You will have like loads of like craving. You will especially if you do like crush diets, you will end up going following like the yo-yo pattern. That means like you lose weight and then you put on all of the weight, and then sometimes even like when you do crash diets, you will end up maybe even losing like muscles instead of losing fat, and I'll explain about it in a moment, and that can be really dangerous. So yeah, we need to make sure that we have to be very mindful, and we have to change our behavior towards food, because if we don't do that, we will end up if we just follow crash diets and stuff like this, and we will see the food as an enemy, we will a lot of like mental health problems. We were seeing like as a GP, I'm seeing a lot of mental health problems. One of the things, of course, apart like from being stressed and having being self-conscious, and maybe even a bit of low mood, also emotional eating, and sometimes even like young girls, they end up maybe having like anorexia, and you don't want all of that. It's just like we need to change the behavior with the food. That's the only thing. Okay, so let's say now we're gonna go to the part where we want to lose weight. So I've explained earlier all about Mediterranean diet, what is it, how to follow it. So now we want to go to a part of, if somebody wants to, he says, okay, I want to do Mediterranean diet. I have like maybe a bit of weight which I want to lose. That's fine. Or even if you don't want to lose weight, or if you want to gain weight, maybe you want to gain weight, maybe you want to gain muscles, maybe a man is listening now and he wants to have some muscles. What's the best thing? The best thing is to download the app called MyFitnessPal app. So MyFitnessPal app, when you download it in your phone, if you have like a smartphone, it will ask you a few details. It will ask you about what is your target, what's your goal. Do you want to lose weight? You don't want to lose weight? What's your age? What's your weight at the moment? All of that it will tell you, and then it will ask you how much weight you want to lose. Of course, always put half a kilo to 1 kilo, not more than half a kilo to 1 kilo per week, in case if you want to lose weight. And then what you will do, there's like a part here in my fitness app Pal where you can scan food, and that's very good, because if you work many hours, for example, let's say if you work every day until 5-6 o'clock and you don't have a time, like, you know, to prepare your lunch, and you buy something from Costa or from Mark Spencer or from any area or from any shop, and then you scan it, you think that it's healthy because it's written on it, this is healthy, this is diet. You will be so surprised. When I used to scan food, I was so surprised by many things which I thought it was healthy, and actually I found that it's not healthy. I found that it's full of salt, full of sodium, full of like cholesterol, like straight away, like you see the calories go up, and it's not as it's written on. It's written on it, actually it's just like salad and chicken. So the best thing is to do it, is to scan. And my advice is to continue on this app, continue on scanning, because when you scan, what happens that it will all be stored in the history. So for example, I scanned today that I had some anything, like I had like cheese, or I had cucumber. Tomorrow when I want to scan again, I will find the same thing. So it will be easy for me. I can just pick this one. I don't need to scan every time, because we repeat the food which we eat. So in the first 2-3 months, you have to scan every day. You scan the things which you buy, for example, from your coffee shop or anything, and then you can just like record it every day. So at the end, it will tell you, for example, if you tell you like today you had like 60% carbs, you had like 10%, for example, protein, and 30% fat. So let's say that my goal is to eat like 30% of my diet protein. So that will give me a good feedback. So if I find that I only had 20% protein, and I ate 50% carbs, and so these are the macros, and the other ones, these are the micro. So that's the difference. That gives you exactly what is the nutrition, what is the nutrients in each food you buy. Of course, it's the list is longer than this. This is just like a small list. It just tells you about the fat and the sugar and all of that. But actually, if you go really on the app, you'll find that there's cholesterol, there's sodium, there's minerals, there's everything, vitamins, everything you'll find it in. So that will give you like a better estimate about what you're really putting in your stomach, what you're really eating. So yeah, so that tells you about, that's the macro, these are the macro, and that's the macro. I mean, if you want to know more about this app, there's loads of videos on YouTube you can know more about, and you can have a play. You can just download it and play with it a bit. So yeah, it will give you an estimate. It will tell you. So that means, for example, if I didn't hit my protein today and I want to add my protein, I want to decrease the fat, the bad fat, the saturated fat. Don't get stressed, or don't get like disheartened if you find that you didn't do very well today, or even the first week or the second week. That's fine. Just continue, and after a while, by continuation, the key or the key is, and the best thing is just to continue on it. When you continue on it, you'll find yourself like hitting like your targets, hitting the protein, instead of like, for example, if I want 30% protein, you will have protein. But the only thing, just to continue on it. The problem that people really get frustrated because they didn't hit their targets, and because, like, for example, they went into calorie deficit, and they ate like just one meal, but then when they scanned it, they found that actually it's quite bad. So they say, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. They got fed up of it. So people get fed up very quickly. So you just need to continue. That's the only thing. Okay, and then another thing, you have to face your weaknesses if you want to lose weight. Apart from like following Mediterranean style and all of that, but if you want to lose weight, or if you want to like eat healthy, just sit between you and yourself. Say, okay, what are my weaknesses? Is my weakness sugar? Do I like sugary things? Is it emotional eating? Do I get stressed, and when I get stressed, I just open and just like have a relief by eating chocolate? Do I like chocolate? Do I like snacks? Do I like chips or crisps? I mean, what are your weaknesses? What are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses? So each person has weaknesses, and try to find an alternative to these weaknesses. I'm not saying like an alternative which is not as good as your weakness. So for example, if you like chocolate, there's no point if I tell you, well, you need to eat an apple. Because if somebody likes Nutella or they like Ferrero and you tell them to eat an apple, they will tell you, well, actually that it's not really going to help me. I mean, this advice, I'm not satisfied by an apple. So you need to find a fruit which you like, which is as good as having your best chocolate. So from my experience, the only fruit which I liked was the Sharon, the kaki. The kaki, I mean, I like it. It really satisfies me if I have 2 of them. If I'm craving, like in the like, let's say in the evening, that's where I wish if I have something like sugary, a cake or something. If I have like two of these Sharons or kaki, I mean, Americans, they say Sharon, but I think in English they say kaki. So if I have 2 of them, and I have, for example, like a small piece of like a dark chocolate with a bit of salt and coffee, that's enough. Even if you put Nutella on, even if you put Ferrero or anything, it doesn't allure me anymore. It just satisfies me. So you need to find your own fruit. But I like this fruit. Maybe another person would say, well, I like strawberries. For me, strawberries, I mean, a lot of people like strawberries. I like them. But still, it doesn't satisfy me that much because I have a sweet tooth. My weakness is sugar, but my weakness is not. I don't really like. I don't care about crisps or anything else. So you need to find your weakness. If your weakness is crisps, for example, if you see this and you feel like you do very well, but then you crash on having chips or crisps. And by the way, that's part of the culture in the UK. English people, they love their crisps. They love crisps even more than sweets and chocolate. So if that's your weakness, then try to find a snack which is as good as crisps. So find nuts, pistachio, olives, buy good quality olives and leave them in your fridge. Whenever you feel you want a crisp, just go and eat some olives. It will really satisfy you with some tea, maybe nice tea, chamomilla or any herbal tea. Another thing which can be even popcorn. Popcorn can be, don't have the toffee one, but you can have a popcorn. I mean, it's not that healthy. There's no nutrition that much. I mean, there is no nutritionist value in a popcorn, but not like nuts. Nuts, of course, it has like loads of nutrition, like vitamin E and loads of omega and loads of good things. But at least it will satisfy you. You're not gonna go through the crisps. That's the only thing. It's just how to trick your brain. Okay, so another thing, some people, their weaknesses is they like to have big meals. So if you like to have a big meal, for example, if somebody wants to lose weight and they stick with the meals, but they say, well, I always get hungry on lunch, that's fine. If you get hungry, you want to have a big meal, that's okay. Just skip that meals. You have to decrease the meals from 3 meals, do intermittent fasting, make it 1 meal. 1 meal following Mediterranean diet, and you will lose weight. Okay, go into calorie deficit. Instead of having 2,000 calories, go minus 500 calories. Go into 1,500 calories. You're gonna lose weight. Okay, the question is, how can you calculate the calories needed every day? How can you do that? So a lot of apps, like MyFitnessPal app, it will calculate it for you. But you can do it by yourself. So you can just take a screenshot of this. If you're a man or you're a woman, you just do this equation, 655 plus this one, multiplied by weight in kilos. And that will give you the basal metabolic rate. So what is a basal metabolic rate? It is the amount your body needs every day to burn, okay? So basic metabolic rate, that's without doing any exercise. So for example, let's say based on my height, my age, my weight, for example, my basic metabolic rate will be maybe 1,500 or 600 or something, okay? So if I'm not doing anything, if I'm just sitting, okay? Just sitting, not doing anything, basic metabolic rate multiplied by 1.2, that gives me my calories needed every day. So if I eat less 500 calories, I will lose weight. If I eat more, I will put on weight. So that's why people who tell you, like people who suffer from obesity, I see many patients like this who suffer from obesity. When they come to their GPs, when the GP asks them or the doctor asks them, are you doing diet? Yeah, I'm doing diet. I'm eating fruits and vegetables. I'm not eating anything else, but I'm still not losing weight. I think the main problem that maybe they didn't track their calories. Maybe that's thing because even if you're not doing any exercise, actually you need to burn calories unless you're eating extra. So for every pound you need to for every pound added in a week, you need to eat extra 3,500 calories for every pound. So when somebody is adding weight, they're putting on weight, and they say, "Well, I'm following a diet," they have to sit between them and they have to be honest between them and themselves. But of course, I mean, as a doctor, I know that sometimes patients have their own agenda, because their agenda, they want to have sleeping tablet, slimming tablets, the orlistat, they want to have that, or they want to get referred to have like the surgery, the tummy tuck, or bariatric surgery. So that's why they tell you, well, I'm doing a diet, I'm eating fruit and vegetables, but I didn't lose weight. Or sometimes they're worried that they might have problems with the thyroid. And okay, so as you can see here, so if you're not doing anything, that your basal metabolic rate will be multiplied by 1.2. The more you do exercise, the more you have more capacity, the more the number will be higher. It will be even above 2,000 calories, and then after that you have more capacity to eat more food, or you can eat more food. And for example, if somebody is doing, like, let's say here, exercise 3 to 5 times a week, and the number is 2,000, so minus 500, so 1,000. So that means I need to eat 1,500 calories. So that means I go back to my fitness app here. Where is the app which I told you about? And you can just write that I want 1,500 calories every day. So you just need to do that. Okay, so the most important advice is not to fall into crash diets. Like, I know there's loads of trends, celebrity diets, keto diet, blah, blah, all of that stuff. There's also a very famous diet in the Arab world called the date diet. I don't know if you heard about it. You eat 7 dates 3 times a day, in total 21 dates with milk. And basically it promises you that if you do that, you will lose, 4 or 5 kilos a week. All of that is rubbish. Doesn't make sense. Scientifically, it doesn't make sense, because studies show even the most restricted diet, even the worst crash diet you do, in a week, you're not going to lose more than a half kilo into 1 kilo of fat. Okay, so as you can see here, that this picture shows that this is 1 kilo of muscle, and this is 1 kilo of fat. So all of these crash diets which promise, oh, you're going to lose like 4 to 5 kilos a week or in 2 weeks, you cannot lose that more than half a kilo of fat, or 1 kilo of fat in a week. So if you lose 4 or 5 kilos a week following crash diet, guess what? You didn't really lose fat. That's the problem. You lost other things. You lost your water in your body, and you lost the muscle. And that's the worst thing. You don't want to lose a muscle, especially if you're a man. And even if you're a woman, you don't want to lose muscles, because if you lose muscles, then the body, first of all, that's not good for your body. It's better to have, like, muscles are good. It gives you the tone, it gives you strength. So you don't want to do that. So the best diet you do is to maintain the muscle mass, okay, the muscle bulk, but burn the fat. How can you do that? By following a good diet. A diet where, as I explained, for example, like the Mediterranean diet, and if you go on calorie deficit, minus 500. That's the only way, with exercise. There isn't other way. Unless all of this has failed, and then the next step, of course, your GP will give you some tablets, like the orlistat tablets, but even these tablets, they have side effects, and even these tablets are not magic tablets. A lot of people think that's magic tablet. No, it's not magic tablet. You need to still follow like a healthy diet doing it. And if all of this failed, and somebody suffers from a high BMI above 40, then they're entitled, of course, to go to surgery. Maybe discuss about bariatric surgery. But even bariatric surgery, it has complications, because it's a surgery. It's a big surgery. It's not just like a minor surgery. Okay, so the question is, how can you know that you're not burning muscles? You're not losing your muscle when you do a diet. The best way is to buy a smart scale. It usually costs about, like on Amazon, like 20 to 30 pounds. That's really good, because when you it's like an app, and also you get like the scale. It tells you about your weight, what is your basal metabolic rate, what is your BMI, and then you can track your muscle mass, you can track your fat in your body, you can track the water in your body. So for example, if you started exercising and you started going into calorie deficit, whether it was intermittent fasting, or you just like decided to decrease your calories to 1,500, what will it do? You want the fat to go down percentage, and you want the muscle to stay as it is. You don't want to lose muscle. If you find that the fat is the same percentage and the muscle mass, you're losing your muscle mass, that's a red flag. That's a warning. That means your diet is not working. That means you're not doing it well. You're just eating the bad food. You're not eating that much calories. You're going to calorie deficit. You're eating like just maybe, let's say, 500 or 700 calorie. You're hungry, but still you're losing your muscle. Okay. If hopefully I explained it in a good way. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if there's any questions about exercise. I mean, we're running out of time, sorry. Exercise, as I said, 30 minutes per day. The best exercise that you have cardio, whether it was bicycle or maybe walking or jogging, walking your dog or doing anything, but also like having strengthening exercise. Strength will give you like body lifting. It will increase the muscle bulk. If you're a man, it will make your body look better than just doing cardio. And Pilates, of course, yoga, especially for women, it will give them flexibility. It will help women during their period. It will lift your mood. It's not only it's a healthy lifestyle. It will decrease the stress. If you suffer from depression, it will treat your depression. If you have any aches in your body, exercise is the best solution for it. Okay, last thing, don't compare yourself with your grandfather. Okay, that's quite funny, but look, I know a lot of people will say like, oh, Mediterranean diet will tell me not to eat fat, and in Arabic we call it ksamna, and you know, all Arabic food has fat, and my grandfather had it. He lived until the age of 90. Don't compare yourself with a grandfather. Your grandfather doesn't have the same stress which you're living at the moment. Your grandfather, at the age of 25, he had a farm. He had maybe 1 or 2 houses. If he was a happy bunny, maybe even he had 2 wives with 10 children. Maybe he didn't go to university. Maybe a lot of them from secondary school. After secondary school, they got really a good job. They didn't have problems with jobs as now. Now the jobs are competitive, especially in the UK. If you have a scholarship, or if you're on benefit, or if you're working every day in the NHS or HM Revenue, I don't know, it can be quite stressful. If you're listening from another country, from the UK, again, we're living in a time. There's loads of inflation. Life is not simple as before. Social media made it more difficult. Competitive. It's your wife. If you're a man, your wife is always comparing. Maybe at that time my grandfather, the needs for his wife were just having like a bit of gold. Maybe now the needs is more. Even each child, university, all of that. Yeah, economically, because of the inflation, there's more stress on us at the moment than before. So if your grandfather, if he enjoyed having butter or a bit of like food with a bit of cholesterol, and he lived until the age of 90, that's great. Mubarak alayh. But for us, like with all of the like inflation of the stress we're living at the moment, on top of that, even having lard, that's a diet for a heart attack. You don't want to have a heart attack at the age of 50. You want to live. All of us will age, but how to age in a good way? How to age in a healthy way with a good quality of life. That's the only thing. So let's make this our goal for 2024. And tell me in the comments if anyone, like, if you did any changes and what are your goals, any questions. Sorry, it was a very long one. I really wanted to make it short, but to be honest, I don't think I can make it short, but because that means like I'm not gonna cover many important things. And because also I like this, that was my master, which I did like 10 years ago. It was about how to eat healthy in a Mediterranean diet. So, and as I said, I'm Libyan, I'm from the Mediterranean. My grandmother is Italian, and I love my grandmother. I love her food, and bless her, she's dead now. She passed away. So yeah, anyway, thank you. Salam alaikum.